obliterate our enemies. That is the Department of War. What's up, guys? I'm Pete Hegseth. We're outside this woke liberal town that is actually defying our government.
Hello guys, and welcome back to another video. As you saw in the very first clip, this episode is wild and it's very different to what I was expecting, but in a very refreshing good way.
We've got the narco terrorists on the run and we're gonna take them out. Yeah!
Because South Park is truly gearing up as the season digs deeper and deeper into the political madness that we have all been forced to attend on a daily basis, especially this year have been straight up madness. And at this point, when I wake up, I brew my coffee, I read the news, I genuinely have to double check to see if it's satire or not, because we've reached a moment in history where half of today's headlines could have been a ridiculous South Park plot just 10 years ago, but nope. It's just the modern America for you. And that's why in South Park's Thanksgiving special, the crazy people of South Park are now the sensible ones, and the government officials of today are the lunatics. How did we end up here? Because this episode, it takes on the Department of War.
And nobody defies the Department of War. Pete Hegseth will do whatever it takes.
Pete Hegseth being an absolute douche, and Americans selling off Western values the forefathers literally died trying to protect. And all for a bit of hush-hush money. And my favorite ongoing theme of the entire season, the ridiculously obvious deep state corruption in government. I genuinely enjoyed this one, and I'm sure that you will too. And when you support the video down below by hyping, writing a comment, or liking the video, it's like a toddler trying to learn how to ride a bike. And with the grace of a loving parent supporting the endeavor, everything is gonna go smooth. But without it, the kid is gonna crash and burn, lay on the side of the road, going nowhere. So big love to everyone partaking in the rescue of all of my videos. I love you guys, and let's get into it. When the city of South Park is low on funds for their yearly Thanksgiving turkey trot, there's one group always ready to throw money at anything who needs support.
How is it that we haven't found one sponsor to help pay for this event?
Well, of course, there is someone who'd be willing to give South Park a bunch of money.
Is it the local stores, the mayor, or a good Samaritan willing to support the local culture and traditions? Of course not.
It's the 28th annual South Park Turkey Trot, sponsored by Saudi Arabia.
It's Saudi Arabia. And this is obviously a reference to, well, everybody being funded by Saudi these days.
Get your tickets now. Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, Tim Dillon live.
Everyone's like, yeah, you should do it. Everyone's doing it.
Any country that wants to offer me a large sum of money to go and perform, I will do it.
Famous comedians, modern celebrities, all taking the bag. And Cartman even calls out a few directly.
Token, you can't whine about a country trying to come into the 21st century. If Saudi Arabia is out paying for sporting events, they're not out hacking up reporters and inviting Pete Davidson to come do comedy. You want them to go back to what they were doing? Do you want Saudi Arabia to just go back to cutting people up and paying Kevin Hart?
And here's why it is so hard, because these payouts aren't free. They come with a price. And these celebrities, they become walking mascots for a country that shares none of the values America brags about. Saudi Arabia isn't exactly known for freedom of religion, freedom of speech, or allowing anyone to say anything, especially about the government, without, disappearing. That's why it's so funny that the Thanksgiving race, literally celebrating freedom, is now sponsored by Saudi Arabia. Remember the whole reason the Pilgrims came here? They fled England because they wanted to worship freely, speak freely, live freely. So the modern Thanksgiving race being owned by a nation that doesn't allow any of that? Well, it's peak irony.
All ages are welcome. Disparaging remarks towards the Saudi royal family are strictly prohibited.
But who truly cares about Western values when, you can get some money? Some free cash, of course. It doesn't matter. Like, what about culture, religion, tradition? Nah, we got cash. In the last few episodes, we saw Peter Thiel breaking the law, getting arrested, and he kind of told them that was a big mistake because he has some very powerful friends. And we saw JD Vance Donald Trump talking about getting him out of prison, and they somehow, with political pressure, will get that done. And now the political pressure starts rolling in, and they want Peter Thiel free. And when freedom is at stake, who do you call?
There's something weird, and it don't look good. Who you gonna call?
Sir, the White House is calling again. They're demanding we release the prisoner. Tell them we're busy. But they said if we don't comply, they're gonna send in Pete Hegseth and the Department of War.
Yeah, not the Ghostbusters. It's Pete Hegseth.
Who's Pete Hegseth? Yeah! Hey, what's up, guys? It's Pete Hegseth, the Department of War. We're here to infiltrate this police station and extract a POI, because that's what we do.
And the entire sequence in this episode is just a hysterical parody of the real Pete Hegseth persona. This self-branded frontline tough guy, action hero addicted to showing off how cool he is instead of just being, you know, an actual trustworthy leader. Basically the Navy SEAL version of a YouTube influencer.
What's up, guys? Pete Hegseth, Department of War. We've got the narco-terrorists on the run and we're gonna take them out. Yeah!
And this clip is definitely a reference to the viral AI video that Trump posted during the No Kings protest. That's the same vibe, the same soundtrack, and the same, oh my god, you are an actual douche.
We've got the narco-terrorists on the run and we're gonna take them out.
And this narco-terrorist excuse is clearly a reference to the Venezuelan boats he blew up while claiming it was all perfectly legal because, you know, they might have been associated with a terrorist group.
The strike conducted on September 2nd was conducted in self-defense to protect Americans in vital United States interests. The strike was conducted in international waters and in accordance with the law of armed conflict.
Never mind the part where he allegedly double-dipped the same boats even after they're already destroyed. You know, just in case some of the drugs were still chilling us out, having fun, didn't show a passport. And it's kind of splitting the country in half, because some people believe that anything to combat the drug problem is great, while others sees it as a bit of an overreaction towards a country that barely possesses a threat. Mexico, Colombia, sure, big drug problem. Venezuela, I don't think so. But he's just perfectly portrayed as this propaganda soldier for the war machine, always ready to escalate any situation into possible war, because, you know, if there's no war, there's no content.
Our plan, gentlemen, is to intercept them at this location here and get as much content as we possibly can. It's quite possible we'll also be needing to get content in this area, so be ready.
And when the starting pistol fires at the turkey trot,
Holy shit! Shots fired! Shots fired! Get set up over there! We need content!
as any calm, emotionally stable leader would do, he immediately goes into a full panic mode and hides.
There's an uprising here, some kind of insurrection. Be sure to like and subscribe.
You know, kind of like when he was accused of war crimes and blamed another general for his actions. Yeah, classic leadership.
He's gonna man up and take responsibility as the Secretary of War.
Pete Hegseth put the blame for the second strike squarely on his commander, Admiral Mitch Bradley, saying on X, "I stand by him and the combat decisions he has made."
Thank you, Pete. Very normal behavior. And hey, we all know the best defense is total obliteration of anything that remotely looks like someone you don't like. Especially if they have, you know, oil. Lots and lots of oil. And then we get the return of Kristi Nolan. She pulls up for Thanksgiving like she just respawned from her earlier episode's Rampage. She's hyper-trained, hyper-focused, and, of course, hyper-stable, because her immediate combat instinct, yeah, she shot it on the puppy. If you didn't see that episode, yeah, there's a history here. She famously shot animals every time she failed to train them, especially her dog, and also a goat. And it's another incredible display of accountability, which seems to be very contagious in the current administration, which is why I loved this clip from the Halloween special where nobody would take accountability except the child in the room.
You! What? You? What did he do? Okay, it's all true. We've been dealing in this deception and lies. We've all been getting filthy rich off of crypto, oh Jesus. We've lied and we've cheated.
And now to the big comedic twist, because the South Park Police Department is usually depicted as complete idiots. And suddenly, they're the competent ones, because these are the guys who, in case you haven't watched South Park for a while, they failed to catch the left-hand killers because they only found right hands at the scene.
This isn't the guy. The serial killer always cuts off the victim's left hands. Right. Well, those aren't left hands. See? On your left hand, the thumb faces to the left. Those are all right hands. Oh. Nope, this isn't our man.
And somehow, they're now the rational adults this time? Yeah, this is just peak parody of reality, because opposite to the government, the police actually take action, throw criminals in jail, and, do their jobs. DOJ, maybe take some notes, because when the South Park PD is the voice of reason, something is seriously broken in our society. And the final scene, yeah, it's just beautiful.
All right, guys, that about wraps it up. Let's get home and eat some turkey. The president will come for us. South Park's gonna pay for this. They're all gonna pay.
It's Peter Thiel and Hegseth, partners in crime, jailed up with zero remorse for their actions. Just pure frustration that the people who believe they are way above the law are currently not in control of the law. Just like any real politician and three-letter organizations who are never facing consequences for their action. And as a cherry on top, their cell number is number 13, which is not random, because it's the number of betrayal and bad luck. And honestly, that's how a lot of the conservative right feels for voting for Trump, because they voted for no more wars, and they're currently watching the Trump administration warm up the jet engines yet again for another ride, because, bad people out there. And honestly, when it comes to Peter Thiel, if I have to say it in every single episode, I will.
Peter Thiel knows about the Antichrist. Peter Thiel knows about the Antichrist.
I'm Peter Thiel and I know about the Antichrist.
And the number 13 is very relevant when it comes to Peter Thiel specifically. Because in the Bible, Revelation 13, I know, a lot of you people don't believe in that stuff, but he does. And it perfectly describes his entire Palantir company. The mark of the beast, the AI surveillance system ready to judge every single human being on Earth, and the rise of the Antichrist, which of course he's an expert in. He didn't have one, not two, not three, no 4 lectures about the Antichrist. If he had one, I'll be like, okay, that's a hobby of his. He just wants to share his knowledge with his friends. But 4? If I was his advisor, I would be like, bro, just stick to one. Like, do you really want people to think that you are this weird reptile freak that so many people think that you are? Like, are you actually feeding into the stereotype? Because he just can't help it. He is just this weird person, very into this dark religious stuff. Yeah. As always, I don't hide my distaste for these technocrats and all the politicians that they buy, because we're just down here. They don't give a damn about us, but you know who gives a damn about you? I do. Thank you so much. If you watched the entire video, if you made it this far, please like the video, comment down below, subscribe to the channel. And if you have the hype option, just try it out. It's very, very cool. And it helps me a lot. So thank you guys so much for watching. Do something nice to somebody. Share some love to friends, to family. Drink water and sleep well. No matter where you are, I love you. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Have a kiss. Take care of yourself. Take care about everybody around you, because it's the only thing we have. Thank you guys so much.